And in a world where there is a dichotomy between male and females, biological that is, and we know there's an advantage physically for biological males over biological females, and that's why we have sports that separate the two. You can't cheat and cross over.
I'm Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body, and that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
Dave Palumbo here with an RX Muscle rant. Haven't done one in a while. Was in India for 8 days. We're back. World's Strongest Man or World's Strongest Woman event took place. And guess what? A woman didn't win it. A biological male did. Imagine that in today's world. People are asking me what I think about it. Jammie Booker claimed to have been a woman, entered the event. No one knew who she was. She was a dark horse. The reigning champ, Andrea Thompson, was more than welcome. This new unknown. This woman was 6'5". She was a big girl, or thought she was a big girl. Turned out she was a big boy, but big girl. And it looked like it was going to be a great competition. Out of nowhere, Jammie wins the event, is crowned the new world's strongest woman. It was all over the internet. It was on Instagram. And we thought we had a new champion. But turns out someone did a little digging. And in this day and age, as you know, Google doesn't hide anything. They found out that Jammie Booker has another name in the porn industry of all places, Jammie J, where she is a trans woman porn star. And unfortunately, I saw some of the pictures. I say unfortunately because it was not something I ever wanted to see, and I probably will never look at it again. But someone recognized her from that and realized that, hey, this is not a woman. This is a man who is trans, but biologically a male, which is against the world's strongest woman rules. She did not represent herself as a trans woman. She represented herself as a biological woman, which caused the world's strongest woman competition to disqualify her after the fact and anoint Andrea Thompson, last year's champion, who came in second, as the new champion. Obviously, what that does is it moves everyone else who was down a place up a place. Unfortunately, the girl who came in 11th would have been 10th and would have qualified for the finals and would have got to do the finals. She never got to do that. And of course, Andrea Thompson didn't get to be crowned world's strongest woman, but now she has been given the title since Jammie has been disqualified. Now, the question is, should Jammie have been allowed to compete? She's, after all, she's claiming to be a woman, but she's 6'5". Okay, she's a big girl, big boy, whatever you want to call her. Biologically XY, and obviously has a lot of advantages for someone who's an unknown to come into this sport and dominate and win the world's strongest woman competition on her first try. Kind of lets you know that there's an advantage here. And I'm glad the world's strongest woman competition promoters disqualified her. She doesn't belong in the event. Does she have the right to be a trans woman? 100%. She can be whatever she wants, but she cannot compete in the women's events when she's a biological male. It's a bad idea. We've talked about this before in relation to other sports like swimming with Leah Thompson and some of the other, strength sports we've seen, Olympic lifting in Canada, where some of these, biological men have been competing against women. It's just not fair. Trump said it when he was elected, no more of that. I'm glad the world's strongest woman competition did disqualify her. Once again, everyone has a right to be who they want in life. If you want to be a woman and you were born a man, that's great, but you can't compete with the biological woman. It's just not fair. There's an advantage there, not to mention that all these women are probably taking anabolics anyway, and now you have a male body taking anabolics on top of that, and the advantages of birthright, okay, bigger bone structure, bigger muscle bellies, okay, are an advantage that cannot be denied. We've seen it in every sport, from running, swimming, biking, football, basketball. There's no sport that men, biological men, don't have an advantage. So for, people who are complaining about the fact that she lost this title, to say that she had the right to do this event, you guys are delusional. Once again, people could be whatever they want. If you want to say you're a woman, you want to say you're a dog, I don't care. You have the right to do whatever you want, but don't try to compete in an area that you don't belong. Men don't belong in women's sports. That's why there's women's sports. If we were equal, there wouldn't be men's and women's sports. We would all compete together. But it's not equal. And I don't want to see this. And I know a lot of other people don't want to see this. And she tried to get away with it. She got caught. Okay? Now, if she wants to do strongman, let her do the strong man division, not the strong woman division. She's a big girl. It would be more impressive for me to see her do the world's strongest man competition with the men and place top 20. Because then I could say, you know what? Here's a woman who here's a woman here's a biological male who identifies as a woman who actually can compete with men. People would actually, I guess, respect that about her. But we don't like cheaters, okay? Cheaters never, ever get rewarded. And in a world where there is a dichotomy between male and females, biological that is, and we know there's an advantage physically for biological males over biological females, and that's why we have sports that separate the two. You can't cheat and cross over. It's just not right. Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle Rant.